Western horror gives us a lot of monsters. Eastern films often use horror to educate or warn. Hi guys, I'm Jennifer, the Culture Doctor. Welcome or welcome back. On this channel, I talk about culture-related topics, especially when it comes to the culture comparison between the East and the West. Today, we talk about horror movies. I've recently watched an exciting horror called Final Destination. In fact, I have watched every single movie of this series. I enjoy the tension, the plot, and the unexpected.
Plans. This book, it will show you everything you need to know to keep our family safe.
It all started with Grandma. Death is coming for us because we were never supposed to exist.
You ever wondered why horror movies made like this in Hollywood feels so different from the ones made in Japan or Korea? How they scare us, why they scare us, and what that says about the cultures they come from. Today we are going to dive into the eerie world of Eastern versus Western horror films. Horror movies are designed to creep you out. Nobody would deny that. Whether it's a jump scare, a slow burn sense of dread, or just, in general, something seriously disturbing. The goal is the same, to tap into your deepest fears. From demons to zombies, werewolves to vampires, ghosts to witches. While horror plays with everything we're afraid of, but depending on where the movie is made, the fear comes from different places, caused by different reasons and in different styles. Religion and spirituality are major players in our fear. In Eastern horror, ghosts and spirits are part of life. They're not always related to religion. The supernatural is kind of normalized. Spirits might be around, but they're not always evil. They are considered part of the world. But, of course, they can be evil sometimes.
어느 날 갑자기 집 안에서 사라진 아이.
집안에서 사라진 게 이나가 처음이 아니에요. 32명의 아이가 사라졌고 제가 10년째 쫓고 있죠.
In Western horror, the supernatural is usually seen as bad news, like demonic possessions, satanic rituals, or cursed objects. This is often tied to Christianity. Good versus evil. God versus the devil.
There is another world. The world of darkness.
There are no experts. You probably know as much about possession as most priests. Look, your daughter doesn't say she's a demon. She says she's the devil himself.
I'm telling you that thing upstairs.
So overall, Eastern horror leans to folklore and local legends, considering spirits are a normal part of life, while Western horror tends to use darker, often more twisted interpretations of religious themes. Less about theories and traditions, but more about trauma. Western horror gives us a lot of monsters. Zombies, vampires, werewolves, witches, killer clowns, psychopaths, and slashers, with messed up backstories. When forbidden events unfold, they often reveal the dark side of life. And the thrill usually comes from tangible, physical threats and characters. Eastern horror prefers restless spirits, karma, curses. The scariest part isn't what the ghost does, it's why they're there. Often, the ghosts are victims of the society who are seeking for justice. The horror comes from tragedy and the cause of the tragedy, not just violence. When Western horror loves to shock, Eastern horror builds unease slowly. You won't always scream, but you will feel uncomfortable for days, weeks, sometimes for years.
女の子が行方不明になった事件、河合瑞子ちゃん。
One of my friends told me that for years she gets scared every time she sees flashing lights because of a Japanese horror movie she watched. That is how strongly Eastern horror affects you psychologically. Western horror tends to be loud and gory. Monsters everywhere, blood, lots of it. Think The Conjuring, The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Visually, it's intense. It's bloody, it's graphic. Most of the time, Western horror relies on sensory stimulation.
Here's Johnny.
But Eastern horror is quieter. Doesn't mean it's less intense, but it's quieter. Its intensity is more psychological. Think The Ring or Ju-On. These movies build dread slowly, more scenario and atmosphere related. But they don't explain the supernatural's background. Sometimes you're not even sure what you're afraid of. You just know, damn, you're scared. The Western horror often explains the supernatural. Why is there a vampire? What's its backstory? Every ghost needs a biography.
Who are you?
In the East, they're more like, you don't need to know everything, it is what it is. Eastern horror often speaks to social issues, family pressure, isolation, even school bullying. It uses the paranormal to talk about very real fears. It's symbolic. Western horror is more direct. you will see a monster literally killing people who make bad choices. It's about justice. Well, in a twisted kind of way. Eastern films often use horror to educate or warn. In fact, in some places, ghost stories are told to keep kids from misbehaving. No screen time needed, just an old school scare to keep them in line. In the West, horror is more like a thrill ride, an emotional roller coaster. You scream, you laugh, you cover your eyes, and then it's over. In Eastern countries, horror films are taken way more seriously. They are deeply tied to culture and belief. Curses and hauntings often connect to moral wrongs, passed down through generations. Western horror is more about storytelling. Scary stories with clear good guys and bad guys. And the bad guys usually guess what's coming to them.
Somebody sent this to me.
Oh my god.
Someone knows.
I know what you did last summer. Ooh.
Eastern horror leaves a lot unexplained. You might finish the movie still haunted by questions. That's intentional. Western horror wraps things up. Bad ghost, banish it, explode it, or outsmart it. Everyone lives. Well, whoever's left. The point is, there's usually closure. And while Western movies often end with the evil being destroyed, Eastern films, not so much. The ghosts might still be out there, watching, waiting. The development of this genre between the East and West is different. In recent years, Western horror has gotten more action-packed. Think guns and zombie battles. There is still fear, sure, but it's mixed with adrenaline. Eastern horror still focus on mood, lighting, silence, pacing, all used to build tension. You are not always shown the monster. Sometimes, not knowing is the scariest part. Final thoughts? So here's the big takeaway. Eastern horror is spiritual, symbolic, and psychological. It asks questions without always giving answers. It reflects human issues that are unsolved in real world. Well, most of the time, to be honest. Western horror is loud, direct, and built for thrills. It's about monsters, mayhem, and moral justice. In the East, horror films reflect ancestral values, and they are sometimes even used to teach kids right from wrong. In the West, horror is a way to let off steam and face your fears from the safety of your couch. No matter where it's made, horror does what it does best. Gets inside your head. Alright, what's your vibe? Do you like that slow creeping fear that gets under your skin? Or are you all about the jump scares and blood? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, subscribe. We have a lot more content like this. Thank you for watching. And remember, keep the lights on tonight.